Hello friends, welcome to our channel on Modern Stenographers Hub. Today I am going to dictate you a previous year's stenometer at a speed of 100 words per minute. So without any further delay, let's start the dictation. Dictation will start in 5 seconds, so be ready for it. Mr. Chairman, I rise to speak on the motion of thanks to the President's address. I will be very brief and pointed. During the course of the address, we also had the benefit of the intervention of the leader of the House. So my comments on the President's address will also be interspersed with some responses and reactions to what the learned leader of the House had to say. Sir, the first point I would like to highlight on para 4 of the President's address, there is a reference to the mandate of the 2014 elections, and very clearly and very succinctly, the President's address says that the 2014 mandate was a mandate, and I quote, for development through good governance. Sir, I have no problem with this formulation whatsoever. I have also no problem with the various comments on the mandate that were made yesterday by the leader of the House. But I wish to state that if the mandate of 2014 is seen only through the lens of development and good governance, we are not being realistic. We are not being full justice to the nature of the mandate. Sir, the election campaign is over. This is a parliamentary forum. We are debating the President's address. Therefore, I am forced to draw your attention to this fact simply because both the President of India and the leader of the House raised this issue. Sir, the mandate of 2014 was not just development through good governance, but the mandate was also a consequence of deliberate communal polarization at the ground level in state after state. Sir, I do not believe that any of us who have taken part in the campaign, who have looked at the campaign, can be so simple minded and so blind to the field level realities that we saw in the state after state, particularly in the northern parts and in the central parts of the country, where deliberate polarization was sought to be engineered by the party that is now in power. So, I do not wish to go back in time as to how it was done and why it was done. All I wish to state is that the mandate of 2014 at one level was development through good governance, but at the ground level, at the most fundamental level, it was the outcome, the consequence of deliberate communal polarization. I can only hope, sir, and my party and all the country can only hope that, having reaped the benefits of the communal polarization, the government would learn the lesson from previous history, from previous regimes and govern from the center. It is no longer a time for polarization, now is a time for good governance, and good governance means inclusive governance. Good governance means taking everybody along, and I hope that the hope that I have expressed come true, that having done the polarization as part of the campaign, to set it aside now and focus on good governance, forgetting the nature of the strategy that was adopted for getting this mandate. Sir, the second point I wish to make is that the President's address has necessarily to be selective. The government is only 15 days old, and therefore you are not going to be able to deal with all the issues in the President's address, and it will only be in the budget that the full agenda of the government. Even so, sir, I feel somewhat disappointed that this President's address does not do adequate justice to the momentous economic and social changes that have taken place in the last 10 years. The fact that we did not get the mandate does not deny the fact that these changes have taken place. Sir, we have had a GDP growth of over 7.5% over a 10-year period. This is the fastest GDP growth in any democratic country in the world. This means a doubling of GDP over a 10-year period. 140 million people have been raised above the poverty line. Yesterday, the Honorable Leader of the House kept saying that we had alleviated poverty. No, sir, we have alleviated poor people above the poverty line. 140 million people have been raised above the poverty line. Yesterday, the Honorable Leader of the House kept saying that we had alleviated poverty. No, sir, we have alleviated poor people above the poverty line. 140 million people have escaped the trap of poverty as a result of economic growth and various social interventions of the government over a 10-year period. People have been empowered to an unprecedented degree. Sir, 13 lakh tribals have been empowered through the Forest Rights Act every year. 4.5 to 5 crore rural households find productive employment through the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. I can give example after example, whether it is the Right to Education Act or whether it is the Forest Rights Act. Of course, the Food Security Act is yet to become fully operational, and the Land Acquisition Act is yet to become fully operational.